Hello friends, hope all of you are doing well. In today's session we're going to discuss about a very interesting poem by John Milton, Sonnet 19, which is also known as When I Consider How My Light is Spent. This poem is also very crucial from examination perspective and also a game changer and a major turning point in John Milton's life. But before we go on to this video, I would like to give a humble reminder to all my subscribers and all those who are watching this video that I have covered a lot of poems which are important from examination perspective of British poetry and MEG1. If you want to reap the benefit of all those videos, the link of the playlist of MEG1 British poetry is given in the description. Do go ahead and watch those videos in order to boost your preparation for your upcoming term and examination. So the major highlights of today's session will be, first of all, we'll be analyzing the backdrop of the poem Sonnet 19 When I Consider How My Light is Spent by John Milton. After that, we will discuss a little bit about the author, the poet John Milton. I'll not go in brief because I've already discussed about John Milton in my previous videos. In case if you want to know about John Milton in brief, then do go ahead and watch those videos of British poetry, the link of which is given in the description, of course. And then in the third section of this session, we'll obviously discuss line by line the entire poem. We'll talk about the entire meaning of the lines that are given in this poem. Basically, this is a 14-line poem, so it won't take long. So do watch the video till the end, and eventually at the end of the video, I'll discuss about the December term and examination question, RTC question basically, which came from this poem, the exam which was held in February term and examination. So without wasting much time, let's go ahead with the video. So before going and understanding the summary of the entire poem, let us understand what does sonnet mean. Basically, a sonnet is a poem of 14 lines using any of a number of formal rhyme schemes. Now, rhyme schemes I have discussed in a lot of videos. I will not go again in this video. But in case if you have any doubt, still you have any doubt regarding the rhyme scheme patterns and you want to understand in brief, then do comment in the comment section. I'll definitely try to address it in the next video. So it in English typically having 10 syllables per line. Alright, so let's move on and understand the summary and the gist of this entire poem. Sonnet 19, more commonly called When I Consider How My Light is Spent, is a poem by English poet John Milton, likely written in the mid 1650s after Milton lost his eyesight. That's why I told you in the beginning that this poem is a major game changer and a turning point in the life of John Milton, where he analyzes that what is his purpose in life if he has lost his eyesight. How will he fulfill the purpose that God has given to him after losing his eyesight? So this is a very important poem from that perspective, and that reflects in the exams of IGNOU as well, because they have given a question of RTC from this poem. We'll discuss that by the end of the video. So the poem reflects as in physical and spiritual challenges the speaker faces as a blind person. He feels unable to complete the task that God has set for him and worries that he is squandering his capacity to serve God. But in the second half of the poem, the speaker reassures himself by arguing that God does not need human help and that there are many ways to serve him. Like some of Milton's other poems, for example, How Soon Hath Time, the poem thus defends a Protestant position, the idea that salvation comes from faith rather than work. So we have to understand that this poem has a religious angle, of course, and here the Protestant position that I have mentioned in the summary reflects the idea that how John Milton was, too much motivated and religiously inclined towards the Protestant beliefs rather than the Catholic beliefs. We all know that Christianity, in case of Christianity religion, we have two sects of followers, that is the Catholics and the Protestants. So Protestants basically believe that the salvation comes from faith rather than work, and the Catholics believe that the path of salvation is through the church. Alright, so I hope that you have understood the basic difference between Protestants and the Catholics here. So as promised, let us talk a little bit about the author here, the poet John Milton, who was basically born on 9th December 1608 and he died on 8th November 1674. He was an English poet and an intellectual who served as a civil servant for the Commonwealth of England under its Council of State and later under Oliver Cromwell. He wrote at a time of religious shifts and political instability and is best known for his epic poem Paradise Lost, 1667. So that's something that you need to remember, because John Milton is primarily known for two of his epic works. One is obviously Paradise Lost, and the Paradise Lost is written in blank verse. Paradise Lost is widely considered to be one of the greatest works of literature ever written. So after understanding the backdrop of the poem as well as little bit about the author, the poet John Milton here, let us now come to the poem here, the 14-line poem Sonnet 19, When I Consider How My Light Is Spent. Basically this poem is on his blindness. It reflects a lot of key features, the dilemma, the confusion that the poet had in his mind when he lost his eyesight. Alright, so the poem starts with some lines like this: when I consider how my light is spent, or half my days in this dark world and wide. So if you want to put these words in these two lines, if you want to put it into simple English, it means when I think about how I went blind before I reached the midpoint of my life in this big dark world also. So we have to understand that basically John Milton lost his eyesight in his mid life, okay, in his mid 1650s. So these two lines actually reflects the dilemma here. All right, let's move on. And that one talent which is dead to hide lodge with me useless. So this line means when I consider that my greatest talent, which is it would kill me to hide, is now useless. So here the poet is trying to say that whatever talents he had to serve God is now useless because he is unable to see. All right, he is unable to see. He has lost his eyesight. Though my soul more bent to serve therewith my Maker, and present my true account, lest he returning chide. Alright, so here if you want to convert these lines into simple words, it means even though I want more than ever to use it to serve God, to prove to him that I have made good use of my life, so that he doesn't rebuke me for the way I have spent my life. So we can understand from these lines that John Milton was basically a very religious person, and he was present in England where a lot of religious shifts was going on, and he was writing in those periods, and a lot of his poems reflected his religious beliefs as well. Here we can obviously see the intention of the poet to serve God, to serve his maker. All right, also he has the acknowledgement that he has lost his eyesight. Even though he has lost his eyesight, he has not lost his will to serve the maker, the almighty. All right, so let's move on with the poem. Doth God exact day labor, light denied, I fondly ask. So here in simple words, if we try to understand these two lines, it means when I think about all this, I ask foolishly, does God want me to do work that requires sight after denying me that sight? So here you have to understand this thing, obviously, that the poet here understands that he has lost eyesight by the will of God. Okay, God actually played a role in his loss of eyesight, and he knows it. And he also is asking a question to God, that does God want me to do the work that requires sight? So obviously those works that are required to get the salvation, does it require the eyesight? Because God has denied him the eyesight. All right, so here there is a very big confusion in the mind of the poet. So this part of the poem, the first part of the poem till now that I have just read it for you, reflects the confusion in the mind of the poet, that how he will serve the higher purpose of his life if he has lost his eyesight. Let's move on with the poem. But patience to prevent that murmur soon replies, God doth not need either man's work or his own gifts. So here a major shift in the poem is noticed, because the poet is trying to say, but my internal sense of patience, in an effort to stop that bad thought, quickly replies, God doesn't need man's work or his gifts. So as I have said, in the second part of the poem, the poet actually answers to his own questions. He believes now that God doesn't need his eyesight for him to serve him. All right. So God actually is what? Doesn't need man's work or his gifts. All right. So let's move on. Who best bear his mild yoke, they serve him best. So this means whoever best obeys God's commands serves him best. So here again a very religious shift we can notice, that actually a Protestant belief that I have actually mentioned in the summary of the poem, that the path of salvation is through faith and not through work. All right. So here the poet is trying to acknowledge the fact that whoever lays his life and follows the God's commands serves him. And we don't need to use our eyesight or our other gifts to serve God. So a very interesting perception here of the poet, because we can see a drastic change in the opinion in the same poem. All right. His state is kingly. Now this lines means he is like a king. So here he is trying to refer the God. All right. So God is like a king to this world. Obviously, you all know that whoever is living in this world has eventually needs to answer God our Almighty for all our deeds. All right. So he is like a God, and he is like a king to us. Thousands at his bidding speed, and post over land and ocean without rest. So this line means thousands of people rush around at his bidding, crossing land and sea without rest. So you can see that through these two lines, the poet is trying to refer that lot of people, like thousands and thousands of people, are eventually trying to please God. They are trying to, find the path of the salvation through their deeds or through their faith. And this is very nicely reflected in these two lines of John Milton, Sonnet 19. So finally we came to the last line. This line is very epic, guys, and you need to remember it because this is very important. They also serve who only stand and wait. All right. So this is a very important line again, since this is the last line of this 14-lined poem of Sonnet 19. And this means, and those who simply wait for his commands also serve him. So this line has a crucial meaning here, because here you have to understand that those people who are still figuring out, who are trying to understand the commands of God, and they have yet not delivered for their path of salvation, are still serving him. So we have to understand, by without doing anything, just believing in the context of God and waiting for his commands, and eventually trying to understand the purpose of your life, is actually a means to serve the Lord Almighty, the God. So after doing the line by line analysis of this entire poem, let us come to the question that came in December term and examination 2020 that was held in February. So the question that came is the first four lines. All right. When I consider how my light is spent, are half my days in this dark world and wide, and that one talent which is dead to hide lodged with me useless, though my soul more bent. All right, so I think you have till now figured out the entire mindset of the people, the examiners who are setting the papers. Mostly we'll see that in the more of the important poems, they give the first 4-5 lines in RTC questions. So that gives us a crucial advantage to prepare the poems and to understand where the important questions can come from and which part of the poem is more important from examination perspective. But that not goes well for all the poems, of course, because we know that there are some poems which has around 27 stanzas or more than that. So we have to actually read the entire poem to understand fully the entire context of the poem. So in these 4 lines, what the poet is trying to address, again, since it's an RTC question, we have to divide the entire answer into 3 parts. The first part is reference, the second is context, and then the comment. In the reference part, obviously you will be seeing that this lines has been taken from John Milton's Sonnet 19, when I consider how my light is spent, and basically this is a poem on his blindness. So in reference you will say that, and in the context part you will say that this lines basically reflects or addresses the dilemma in the mind of the poet, his confusion, how he will serve God, he is very sad about it, like how he can serve the Almighty Lord without his eyesight. So these lines, if put into simple words, when I think about how I went blind before I reached the midpoint of my life in this big dark world, when I consider that my greatest talent, which is it would kill me to hide, is now useless. So these are the lines that I have discussed in the beginning when I was discussing line by line analysis, and you have to elaborate it in the comment part. Obviously, you might ask me that, sir, how can we attempt for 200 or 250 words in the comment section in just 4-5 lines, which just have simple thing to mean. Obviously, you can drag the entire context of the poem, little bit summarize it, but yes, the entire focus has to be on these 4 lines in the comment section. Don't shift your focus to irrelevant things and irrelevant points. And that's it for the RTC. So this is the video, guys. In this entire poem I have discussed about the summary of the poem, I have discussed about the little bit about the author here, and I have done the line by line analysis. Also I have discussed the RTC that came from this poem in the recent term and examination. So if you like my initiative of bringing out new poems and the important poems of British poetry MEG 1 and also the other subjects MEG 2, MEG 3 and MEG 4 as well, do feel free to comment in the comment section your opinion regarding my initiative. And if you have any other doubts regarding this poem or any other literary work by any other eminent poet or author, do feel free to comment in the comment section. I'll definitely try to address it in my next video. Till then, God bless you and thank you all.